Okay, so what if I told you that there is a type of cancer with over 1,000 new cases diagnosed per day worldwide, has less than 5 months of life expectancy after diagnosis, and is the 4th cause of death by cancer in Europe? Would you know which one is it, or what are we talking about? Well, in this case, it is the pancreatic cancer. According to recent studies in Europe, up to 25% of the population, which is around 150 million people, have or will have at some point in their lives a pancreatic cystic lesion that might evolve into pancreatic cancer. But today, we can only diagnose less than half of them. It is this current lack of precise screening method, so that we don't have a screening method for telling where the cyst is and whether if it is going to be malignant or not, that is leading to unnecessary surgeries and lifetime follow-up treatments for the patients, impacting their quality life and the hospital's budget. Well, to overcome this problem, Sycai Technologies was born, and we propose Sycai Medical, which is an assistant for radiologists that identifies, classifies, and predicts the evolution of pancreatic cystic lesion on any abdominal CT scan. We have two main objectives. From one side, increase the precision of the diagnosis thanks to the artificial intelligence, and optimize the follow-up treatment thanks to our prediction model. We estimate that we can save up to 20 or 30% of this follow-up image test. Our tool highlights the areas in which the cysts are present, proposes a probable diagnosis, presents similar cases for evaluation so that it empowers the radiologist making a decision, and provides a malignant potential by crossing the data, the clinical data of the patient with several past cases. Sycai Medical is integrated in the hospital PACS so that it can analyze the CT scan instantaneously even before it arrives to the radiologist for an analysis. Our business model is a B2B, targeting hospitals and healthcare centers in Europe first. Our product has a SaaS model, software as a service, with a recurrent monetization based on a monthly fee. We target a wide market with a standard product that is scalable to other pathologies or organs, and with our own technical development, which intellectual property is currently under protection. Well, in economical terms, in terms of the market, artificial intelligence in medical imaging is a market in continuous growth. It has done nothing but growing, and it's about to reach the 2,000 million euros by 2023, and has a global annual growth rate of around 45%. Okay, and who are we? Who form Sycai Technologies? Well, from one side, Sara is a mechanical engineer, has a Master of Science and MBA. She has over 7 years of professional experience in Germany and Spain, and she has the CEO role. Julia Rodriguez Comas is a PhD in biomedicine, postdoctoral researcher at the Institute of Bioengineering in Catalonia, and is our CSO. Julia Rivas is a gastroenterologist from the 12 de Octubre Hospital in Madrid, and is our clinical trial director. And myself, I am a robotics engineer, Master of Science also, last year of PhD in computer vision, and I have the CTO role at our company. Maybe a pandemic had to come to engineering and medicine to work finally closer and benefit from each other. Discovered how much artificial intelligence can help in the analysis of abdominal CT scans, helping to prevent illnesses with probable dramatic endings such as cancer. Join the AI revolution, join us at Sycai. And that was it.
Thank you very much. Great presentation, Javier. So maybe judges can, Giovanni already, he made this video, and John afterwards, we can have some questions from judges. But a quick thing for our previous startup, Hydrogen Solutions, I think there's some questions in the Q&A or in the chat for you. So it's also good to answer this kind of question in the chat in the Q&A. So please, Giovanni, go ahead.
Javier, thank you. It was a nice presentation.
Thanks.
One question, first question is related to your current status. Do you have revenues so far? That's the first question. And the second will be related to the scalability. Are you able to cover other problems, or pancreatic issues is the only element where you are actually now focused on?
So we are quite a young startup. We are about to start our first clinical trials with real patients this month, in September. So no, we don't have revenue yet. And the second question was related, sorry, to?
Second question was related to the scalability. Are you focusing only on pancreatic issues, or you are looking also for some other elements where diseases, places where computer vision could assist you?
Yeah, so the technology would be the same. Right now we are focusing only in pancreatic cyst, since we have seen during the ideation phase that it is quite a common problem for the radiologists, that it is not so easy to see. And we thought that this would be the first, the best case for us to start. But once this is mature, we plan to move to other, for example, cyst in the liver, or even other diseases that could be diagnosable through image in the pancreas itself.
Thanks.
Hi, Javier. Thank you very much for that presentation. It was really, really good to hear. And obviously, you know, if you do go through the clinical trial successfully, then you'll be making a huge impact on people's lives. I have a question regarding the data and the images. Are the images specific to a type of person or a gender? You know, would you see different images if you had a man with a pancreatic cyst, or a woman? So that would be one question. The second question relates to the market. I saw on your slide that you were targeting hospitals, but actually there were quite a few hospitals attached to insurers. So I was wondering what kind of conversations you'd had with them in terms of testing their willingness to pay for something like this and integrate it into their into the hospitals they manage. Thank you.
Yeah, so in terms of data right now, so the image itself, it doesn't matter if it is a male or a female, for example, but in our predictive model, the one that tells you whether, if, for example, a cyst is going to evolve into cancer, it has into account several key factors from the clinical history of the patient that we have also seen with our gastroenterologist from the team. And this is the kind of distinction that we do in terms of data, but for the images, no. And for the business model, right now we are targeting hospitals first. We have had some conversations with other pharmaceuticals or insurance companies or so. But as you were also commenting, it is very important that we have a successful clinical trial first. So for them, yeah, they have some interest. Hospitals have said that they would pay for something like this. But we have to assure that we have the accuracy that we say that we have in the clinical trials.
Thanks. John, I think you have a question. Yes, please.
Yes, Javier, very interesting presentation. And I like your technology. So I'm going to go into the technology itself, right, and talk about data security. Okay, I'm very passionate about this area because I'm involved in it myself in a private note. Okay, so with the data itself, so you know that there's a lot of data protection right now, especially when you go into medical. So how are you protecting the data? That's one question. The data itself from each patient, of course, because a lot of these hospitals are not connected to the GPs, and a lot of the GPs have their systems basically isolated on their own computers. So how is the data being transported? The second question. So, and I have another question after that, but let's go to the first one.
Okay, so yeah, in terms of data, so right now we do have trained the algorithm with some public data. It's always anonymous. We do not need to have any kind of name or identification of the person. And then for the hospitals, the data does not leave the hospital for the inference, so to say, and the training is done on cloud systems that are secure also for assuring this. We also work with another company that it's also looking for these kind of things for us. And,
and on your algorithms itself, right? Are you using neural networks, or are you using convolution? Which way are you doing how are you doing the modeling?
So right now, yes, we are using deep neural networks for the semantic segmentation of the organs first and the cyst, and so to say, we predict each pixel of the image to which organ it may be, and then with the big picture, we say, okay, if this cyst, was it a cyst? Yes. Is it at the top of the pancreas, at the bottom? Because it also impacts on the classification of it. So, and this we do it by deep neural networks.
Okay, and on your storage of the data itself when the data is stored. So because you know if you're taking a lot of CAT scans, MRI scans, and so forth, that's heavy data, right? So is that all within the hospital network? Are you linked into that through the cloud? Like you mentioned.
Yes.
So and that's protected within the hospital, correct?
Yes, yeah. So they also assure. So it is also encrypted, the data. It is not something that it's easily also readable, but they also assure this kind of protection.
Okay. And what's your outlook in 1 to 2 years?
Yes. So the idea is to get the European CE mark by mid of next year and start commercializing this product. And then the idea would be just to scale this to other pathologies, probably on the abdomen still. Okay. But this is in 3 to 5 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks to you.
Yes, please. Maybe Josh would go for his question, then we're going to go back to Tanya.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So thank you for your presentation, and I think you have a really clear problem identification, and also your solutions, and then your technology is pretty much clear, and you got a really qualified team. So I think it's really time for you to think about how to market your product. And then you said you're still young startup, but do you have any sales plan or marketing plan for the next year, or otherwise do you have any plan to get some, I don't know, some fund from the investors, or do you have any kind of monetization or a sales plan?
Yeah, so we are planning to go to a funding round by the end of this year, beginning of next year, also with the results of the clinical trial, since this will also back up our product. And yeah, and this is currently the plan. In terms of marketing plan and so on, we do have some things, but as I said, we are still a bit young, and it is ongoing, I would say.
Okay.
Tanya, you still have another question, or are you good now?
I do. I was just giving someone else a chance to answer again. So my question was, actually it was a follow-on from, you mentioned you were going to be applying for the CE mark later on next year. Is there any other regulatory approval that you would need to seek before you are allowed to commercialize?
So in Europe, I would say the CE mark would be like the golden standard for us to go for it, as far as we know so far. And in the US, there for sure their version of this FDA and so on. Yeah. But in Europe, this would be like for us our main goal.
Thank you.